if the language I used is weird. I'm not a native English speaker, I wrote this feeling icky and also thinking on how to simplify it as much as possible. Story 5. I was a BTCH to my mother-in-law on purpose and I knew it. I pretty much verbally abused my mill because she didn't want to come to my hub's 21st birthday dinner after we said her husband wasn't invited. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was so angry in the moment and my hub was visibly upset with her, so I just let loose and said some god-awful things to her. I knew what I said was wrong of me and I'm not a mean person by nature, but seeing red is seeing red. My hub knows everything I said to her and thinks that she deserved to hear it. I do feel guilty, but I don't think I will ever apologize for it. Story 6. I took the wrong change from the clerk and I knew it. I went to the market today. My mother asked me to buy few things with 200. Somehow I agreed and went there. Everything went smoothly. Some people were looking since I looked like a boy, but it went smoothly. The clerk took a bit of time to calculate the groceries and then gave me the change. It was wrong and I knew it, but dumbass me was too scared to say. Now I am back and I feel really guilty. Should I return it tomorrow? I took much. Story 7. I made my friend fail a test on purpose and made fun of him for failing. In my school weekly we do a math contest. It's basically a math quiz with questions you're supposed to get wrong. But OFC, all the kids in my class are basically geniuses, so they average very good scores. My school typically places in the top 20 in the country every year. For a few weeks we had a teacher assistant who spoke very little English. He was very nice and tried to help the most he could. I saw him in the back of the class right before we were about to take the test and he was writing the correct answers. I saw all of them. I told my friends that I saw that and they began asking for the answers. They always make fun of me for getting anything wrong, ever. One of them is actually pretty smart and no offense, but the other is kinda dumb. The smart one always gets a better grade than me and spends the rest of the day making fun of me and telling me I'm stupid for not knowing the answer to a ridiculously hard test. The smart one asked for the answers and the other just walked back to their seat because they did not want to get in trouble. The smart one is always a giant asshole to me because he knows he's much smarter than me and he never shuts up about it. So I told him the wrong answers. He got a 0 and I got a perfect score. I spent the rest of the day making fun of him and he never made fun of me again for getting a lesser score. I regret nothing. Story 8. In 4th grade I threw an itchy ball on the playground that ended up hitting someone in the eye and someone else got blamed. As the title of the post says, I hit someone in the eye with an itchy ball on the playground. Itchy balls are those sharp seed things that fall from London plane trees. I wasn't aiming at her, but though it'll be funny to throw it towards a group of people and then turn around and act innocent to hear the confusion. It ended up hitting someone in the eye, and she had to wear an eye patch for a week. I think it scratched her cornea, which I know from experience fucking sucks. Someone else got blamed. I was one of many problem children at that school, and apparently another one of them in the area was known to dislike her, so he took the fall and had to spend a week's worth of lunches in the counselor's office. Story 9. I touched a multi-dollar painting at the museum when we were told not to. When I was 12 we went on a field trip to an arts museum and there was this puffy-looking multicolor painting that was popping off the canvas. It just looked so squishy, so I ran my finger on it, but obviously it was dry and hard, so nothing happened. In my mind I thought it would be like frosting. Story 10. I used a CEO's company discount code to buy clothes at 80% off the retail price. When I was younger, I discovered that a particular clothing company had employee discount codes and the CEO used his last name as his code. I purchased several $1,000s worth of clothes at the CEO's discount rate, saving a bundle of money. I have matured and regret doing this. I have to live with my guilt. Story 11. I got stung by a bee to get out of class knowing I'm mildly allergic. So I was in middle school around 5th grade and it was break time. After break we had an hour English. Our English teacher, though a sweetheart, would make us write the entire textbook and I wasn't in the mood for that. Now, I'm playing in the field and I see bees, so I tell this one girl from my class, how about we catch bees in our hands and get stung so we don't have to do work. She said yes, and we did. We murdered bees to get out of class, and honestly I don't regret it. I mean, my fingers were extremely swollen and purple, but it was a sacrifice that had to be made. Story 12. When I was a kid I burned up my friend's Nintendo. He asked me about it and I lied. I could tell that he knew I lied, but he never mentioned it. So I grew up in Peru. My friend had a brand new NES that someone would have had to have shipped him from the US. In Peru, the voltage coming out of the wall is 220V. In the US it's 110. That means that you can't plug American appliances into the wall without a step-down transformer or you'll burn it up. I was the first one up the morning after a sleepover and I thought I'd play Nintendo until everyone else woke up. I plugged it directly into the wall and sure enough it started smoking. I went back and laid down, played dumb when he asked me about it. Story 13. I told everyone I know I got fired from a job that I quit. For anonymity, I won't be using the company's name, but I will say this happened when I was 19. Now, I had just gotten a new job. I really only took it for the title, because it was a leadership position, and I wanted that on my resume to help me out with college stuff, internships, etc. Also, the company I was leaving had so many management issues. People were getting fired left and right, unqualified people were being hired, and it was just too much. Most of the staff like me that had been around for a while quit because it was too much, and we were constantly being asked to do things above our pay grade. Also, we didn't get breaks and there were no opportunities for raises unless you wanted to be a manager. So with that context, almost any job would have been better, right? Nope, you see, this new job had an incompetent manager as well. Which, whatever, that'll happen a lot. But I and the other person hired at the same time as me were not getting trained. They just threw us in and said do it. Mind you, this was not the type of job where you just figure it out by participating. We needed to know the company procedures for safety, and especially because we were in leadership positions. How else would we train people in the future? We tried to give it time, but after a week, we had learned nothing. The manager kept not showing up to work and just dumping us on other employees that didn't know how to train. I had enough. There's more to the story that drove me to quit, but it's not super important, and this post would be far too long if I explained that. I would never quit a job without a backup plan. I knew there were a few things I could do to make money while I searched, and if all else failed, I was welcome at my old job anytime. So I quit. I've always been respectful about quitting, providing at least 2 weeks and such, but I couldn't take it this time. I just left. My reasoning for telling people I got fired? I honestly don't know. It seems silly now, but I thought all I'd hear was how it's important to give it time, you'll always have bad managers, etc. And if I wasn't living at home and had rent to pay, I wouldn't have quit until I had another job. I had other bills to pay, but again, I already had a plan. Overall, there was no reason to lie other than I was just embarrassed, which I guess is why I wrote about it here. Thanks for reading if you got this far. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.